What's up, guys? So today I bring you a head-to-head comparison between two new VIVO mid-range smartphones. So we have the VIVO V27 versus the VIVO V27 Pro. So both of these are mid-range smartphones powered by 4nm Mediatek processors and feature a very interesting color-changing glass back. So in this video, we are simply trying to find out what are the main differences between these two smartphones. Now, these phones have already been launched in India, and based on those prices, you can expect the V27 to be priced around £320 and the V27 Pro will be around £370. So how do these feel in my hands? Well, both phones are very slim and light at around 7.36mm and they weigh around 182 grams. We have 3D curved glass on both, so no Gorilla Glass protection, so the screen wraps around the sides, giving it a flagship look and feel. Furthermore, both phones are made from a color-changing fluorite AG glass, so in the sun or UV light, the color will change, and I want to show you that in action. And I do want to mention the V27 Pro has this kind of marble effect finish. It's a gloss finish, and the V27 Pro has a matte finish. I've got a UV light, but the same effect you can experience if you were in the sun. So starting off with the V27, if I just shine the light, you can see how immediately it changes color. That looks so cool. Check it out, guys. And the same with the V27 Pro. In the sun, what starts off as a light blue will turn into a darker shade of blue. Check it out, color changing back. That is really impressive, and gradually the color will then change back. Now let's just quickly compare the ports. So at the bottom we've got speaker, Type-C, microphone and SIM tray. So exactly the same layout. On the side we've got nothing. On the other side we have volume rocker and a power button, and at the top you have a single microphone. So both phones feature a dual 5G nano SIM tray, so it does accept 2 nano SIMs, but neither phone features MicroSD expansion. Now let's talk about the displays. Both phones feature exactly the same displays, so 6.78-inch AMOLED displays, 120Hz refresh. They are both Full HD Plus with resolution of 2400 by 1080. And if we go into display settings and check out the screen refresh options, you will see that both do support adaptive screen refresh. So it can automatically switch between 60Hz and 120Hz, but you also have the option to go 60 or 120 all the time. Both phones have nearly the same battery capacity. So V27 has a 4500 mAh battery versus 4600 mAh in the V27 Pro. Both also support the same 66-watt flash charging, and the chargers are included in the box. Furthermore, neither phones support wireless charging. Also, both have only single bottom firing speakers. However, to my surprise, the volume is actually pretty loud and clear. Let me give you guys a quick taste. So decent volume and the sound is quite clear, but they do lack that real stereo depth that you get with dual speakers. Now let's talk about processing power. Both phones are powered by a Mediatek Dimensity 4nm processor. The V27 has the Dimensity 7200, which is an octa-core clocked at 2.8 GHz. The V27 has the Dimensity 8200, which is clocked at a slightly higher 3.1 GHz. Both do feature the same integrated Mali G610 graphics. Furthermore, both phones feature LPDDR4 RAM and UFS 3.1 storage. And I have the 8+256 variant of the V27 and the 12+256 variant of the V27 Pro. Also, neither phones support microSD expansion or have headphone jacks, but they both do support dual SIM 5G. Okay, so now let's check out the cameras. Both phones have exactly the same camera setup. So we've got triple cameras with a 50 megapixel primary, and that's the Sony IMX 766, along with 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel macro sensor. And on the front we have the same 50 megapixel selfie camera. So same cameras and same camera bump design. I'm expecting exactly the same results, but nevertheless, I will still share a few side-by-sides for you to compare. So we are starting off with video capture at their maximum resolutions. V27 does 4K 30 max with image stabilization. V27 Pro does 4K 60 but with no image stabilization, and you can see the results clearly. Okay, so now both phones are shooting 4K 30 and the stabilization you can see is equally good on both when filming at this resolution and frame rate. So now I'm just comparing some point and shoot photos in the standard photo mode. I'm not going to comment on each photo. I'm just going to let you guys compare them for yourselves to decide which ones you like better. So let me know in the comments which camera you think takes better photos, or do you think they look exactly the same? Okay, so quick look at the DRM infos. You can see they are both Google Widevine Level 1 certified, and both do support Netflix HD. Now here is a quick look at CPU-Z where you can check out the clock speeds, and you can see that we are indeed running Mali G610 on both. And both phones are running Android 13 with Funtouch OS 13 on top. Now let's compare the benchmarks. Starting off with Geekbench 6. And you can see the V27 has achieved a single core score of 1164 versus 1208 and a multi-core score of 2657 versus 3663. So the Pro model has achieved a slightly higher score on Geekbench for single and multi-core. And if we also compare the Antutu benchmark scores, you can see the V27 has achieved 605K and the V27 Pro has achieved 849K. So interesting results from the benchmarks. It looks like the V27 Pro has pushed ahead, probably due to the extra RAM and slightly better CPU clock speeds. So you can expect a faster performance from the Pro model. And the temperatures after concluding the Antutu benchmark tests, V27 started off at 26 degrees and the V27 Pro started off at 23.8 degrees, and the benchmark test ended at 30 degrees and the V27 Pro ended at 33 degrees. So neither got too hot during this benchmark test. And in case you're wondering how these phones stack up against the other big dogs of this year, well, this is my top smartphone performance chart showing you all the latest smartphones and seeing how they compare with each other, and all the phones are ranked by benchmark scores. So based on the performance, the VIVO V27 Pro takes position 18 and the VIVO V27 takes position 19. Now you can view the full versions of all my charts online and free of charge at chickstech.com and read them at your leisure. Okay, so we are now comparing the COD graphics settings. So V27 versus V27 Pro. So starting off with the V27, you can see maximum graphics supported is very high, and with that, maximum frame rate is also very high. If you tap on max, the graphics quality will drop down to high. If you tap on ultra, the graphics will drop down to low. So the highest you can select is very high and frame rate very high. Now you would expect it to be the same on the Pro, but it's actually not. The Pro model performs slightly better, so maximum graphics is very high and the maximum frame rate with that is max. If you select Ultra, it will drop the graphics down to low, but at least on very high, you can select max. Now let's quickly check out some gameplay.
Hardpoint identified. We tied for the lead. Hardpoint identified. We tied for Hardpoint is ours.
So there you have it, guys. That was my quick comparison test between the VIVO V27 versus the VIVO V27 Pro. Now, you don't get any wireless charging or IP rating in either phone. Also, another letdown is both phones only have a single bottom firing speaker. They are loud and decent quality, but stereo speakers would have been much nicer, especially in the Pro model. I would have expected at least stereo speakers. Nevertheless, both phones are offering an amazing overall experience for the price. To find out more info on these smartphones, including price and special offers, do check out the links in the description box. And the color changing glass back is certainly a unique feature. Hopefully this video should have helped you see the main differences between these two phones. Also, do let me know if you had to pick one, which one would you go for? Please hit the like button if you appreciate my efforts. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.